the US presidential elections. This is India Today Global, and we're talking about Joe Biden pulling out of the US presidential race. Yes, that's happened. There was a lot of speculation on whether if President Biden is going to actually withdraw or not, but finally a decision has been made, and Joe Biden, in a statement that was put out, has decided on pulling out. And if I could just read out the statement for our viewers over here, it does say very specifically that while it also goes on to say that over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis. And then he goes on to talk about what is the big announcement of the hour. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, but I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Two very important decisions. One is that he is stepping down, pulling out of the race, and secondly, he is not stepping down as prime minister. He will complete his term till January 2025, after which the new president takes over. It's on the 5th of November that the presidential election will be held. But then after this, there was another important tweet that he put out, and that tweet really sums it up for you, because there was a lot of speculation. What is going to happen henceforth? Is Kamala Harris going to be the Democratic nominee, or is it going to be an open convention on the 19th of August? To which Joe Biden had tweeted saying, "My fellow Democrats, I've decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this." That's Joe Biden's endorsement for Kamala Harris as the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party. But are the Democrats going to accept it? That's the big question. We've had a lot of speculation in the past few weeks. There was a lot of conversation revolving around whether if President Biden is indeed going to step down or not. And there was some rumor that it will happen over the weekend. It did happen over the weekend, most probably on Sunday. For us, it's Sunday night, but it's afternoon there in the United States of America. So time to try to decide. A lot of people were saying that Democrats are losing out on time if they do not decide on a Biden pullout. The next candidate, should he pull out on the 19th of August, will have very little time to really campaign and canvass. President Joe Biden has had a few things that did not go his way. The last being him taking ill to COVID-19. But before that, the stage was already being set on many counts. One, funders were pulling out. Funders were not prepared to place their bets on Biden, which means the 50 million target that they had to meet by July end was something they were not going to meet. Democrats had become very, very nervous about Joe Biden's performance, whether it's in the rallies, the presidential debate, which was a complete disaster, or for that matter, where the fact that he has had many gaffes, one too many to say. And that certainly has not gone down well. It has become a matter of joke. It is a joking matter in the United States of America when it comes to the discourse over presidential elections and the nominees for the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Also, more importantly, a lot of pressure mounting on Joe Biden within the Democratic Party. There are about 35 Democrats who had written to him or approached him, asking him to step down, asking him to withdraw from the race. Did they really go ahead and endorse Kamala Harris? We'll have to wait and see. We were speaking to a few people before this, and Rohit Sharma, who is a reporter journalist from DC, said that for now it seems like Kamala Harris is the strongest contender because August 19 there are two options. One is a closed convention, which would mean that the vice president then takes over and becomes the presidential candidate. If it's an open convention, then you have other contenders too, and Governor of California, Governor Newsom, certainly is one of the top contenders. A lot of them come with a lot of baggage. And the whole idea that should Kamala Harris not be the candidate, will the Democrats be able to hold the strong black women vote bank? That would be a big question. There's another side to the story, and you can watch that on our channel, an interview with Shalabh Kumar, a Republican member, chairs the Hindu Coalition for the Republican Party. And he was saying that the only toughest contender, the only one who can actually beat Trump from the Democratic Party would be Michelle Obama. However, she's already said she does not want to contest this time. But should there be an open convention? Will there be new faces? Will there be more than just a few people who've been trying to be a part of the presidential race? And if Michelle Obama does agree to, then it is going to be a tough fight because yes, the black women vote bank will remain intact, and the funders will have more confidence in Michelle Obama. That's an aside. For now, Rohit Sharma and many other journalists we were speaking to say that it is going to be Kamala Harris. She is the person that seems like the strongest contender for Trump. Having said that, Donald Trump himself has reacted. He came out and spoke to a media network. A media network has quoted him as saying that it would be easier to beat Harris than to beat Biden. So that's a statement coming in from Trump. Elon Musk has weighed in. He's been talking about this for a while, and he has come out and spoken of the fact that this resignation was to happen. I heard last week that he would resign at this exact time and date. It was widespread knowledge in DC. The real powers that we are discarding the old puppet in favor of one that has a better chance of fooling the public. They fear Trump because he's not a puppet. That's Elon Musk. And like Elon Musk, there are many billionaires who've actually come out in support of Donald Trump. Donald Trump at this point in time, at this juncture, certainly looking very strong, very much in position of strength and having his house in order. Most of the Republicans and Republican leaders are rallying behind Trump, so that's a house in order. And this, on the other side, the Democratic Party is a house that completely looks in a shambles. That aside, there is one more statement that has been put out by Donald Trump, and this is on another social media platform called Truth Social. He said, crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve, and never was. He only attained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. All those around him, including his doctor and media, knew that he wasn't capable of being president, and he wasn't. And now, look what he's done to our country, with millions of people coming across our border totally unchecked and unvetted, many from prisons, mental institutions, and record numbers of terrorists. We will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy damage he has done very quickly. Make America great again. It seems like President Trump has lost no time in taking on President Biden. Trump has actually come out and said what a lot of people now are going to say, starting with none other than the House Speaker, Speaker Mike Johnson, who has called for the resignation of the president on the basis of the fact that if he's not fit to run for president, he should not be sitting as president. So not only has he withdrawn, there is going to be a lot of clamor, an increased demand for President Joe Biden to resign now. Let me read out the statement put out on X, or erstwhile Twitter, by Speaker Mike Johnson. He says, at this unprecedented juncture in American history, we must be clear about what just happened. The Democratic Party forced the Democrat nominee off the ballot just over 100 days before the election, questioning the democratic style or structure or functioning of the Democratic Party itself. Having invalidated the votes of more than 14 million Americans who selected Joe Biden to be the Democrat nominee for president, the self-proclaimed party of democracy, quote unquote, has proven exactly the opposite. The party's prospects are no better now with Vice President Kamala Harris, who co-owns the disastrous policy failures of the Biden administration. As second in command and a completely inept border czar, Harris has been a gleeful accomplice, not only in the destruction of American sovereignty, security, and prosperity, but also in the largest political cover up in US history. She is known for as long as anyone of his incapacity to serve. So he's not just saying that Joe Biden should resign, he's also saying that Kamala Harris knew of his incapacity to serve, and yet she continued backing him and calling it one of the biggest political cover-ups in US history. Regardless of the chaos in the current White House, our adversaries around the globe should be reminded that the US Congress, the US military, and the American people are fully prepared and committed to defend our interests both at home and abroad. Because this does not sound good. It does not sound fine, because if the Democratic Party, which is in power in the United States of America, is in such a state of affairs, then there could be a lot of questions in how they're handling global affairs. There is a lot at stake. There are two wars, one the Russia-Ukraine war and the other Israel-Hamas war, and that continues. One has to see whether if Joe Biden is capable of taking those decisions, if he does not think he has it in him to run for presidency. And that is what Speaker Johnson is questioning. If Joe Biden is not fit to run for president, he's not fit to serve as president. He must resign the office immediately. November 5th cannot arrive soon enough. So that's a very important statement coming in from the US House Speaker, Mike Johnson. There are many other reactions that have come in, and those are global reactions also that are coming in from various quarters. Bill Clinton has reacted, and in a statement has said that President Biden has capped his extraordinary career of service with a presidency that has lifted America out of an unprecedented pandemic, created millions of new jobs, rebuilt a battered economy, strengthened our democracy, and restored our standing in the world. By any measure, he has advanced our founders' charge to build a more perfect union and his own stated goal of restoring the soul of our nation. He's also said, we are honored to join the president in endorsing Vice President Harris and will do whatever we can to support her. So Bill Clinton, both the Clintons actually have come out, and this is a statement from President Bill Clinton and Secretary Clinton. Both the Clintons have come out and endorsed Kamala Harris as the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. That's a very big one. And then there is another reaction that is coming in. There are a lot of reactions, global reactions that have come in. Prime Minister of Israel, Naftali Bennett, says President Biden is a true friend of Israel who stood by us in our most difficult moments. During my tenure as Prime Minister, I witnessed his unwavering support of the state of Israel. Thank you for everything. Again, a very important statement, given that there is a war in Israel, between Israel and Palestine, and at this point in time, at this juncture, it is absolutely imperative that the United States of America has a clear policy on the Israel front. And they have shown that despite the civilian deaths, they have continued to support Israel, and that is something that they'd want seen continued. The Australian Prime Minister has responded saying, thank you for your leadership and ongoing service, President Biden. The Australia-US alliance has never been stronger, with our shared commitment to democratic values, international security, economic prosperity, and climate action for this and future generations. So a lot of reactions now coming in from various quarters, but also from within. Bill Clinton coming out and reacting is a big story. The Clintons have endorsed Kamala Harris. So it does seem like right now there is going to be no other choice but Kamala Harris. But again, we'll have to wait and see whether if there's going to be an open convention or not. And should that be the case, will there be other contenders who are actually going to put forth their names? That certainly will be a deciding factor. But this is the big story that we'll be tracking here on India Today Global. It's a very important story. A lot is at stake, not just when it comes to US's own domestic policies, but this should certainly impact how the United States of America certainly is going to look at its foreign policy, strategic decisions, and how those countries are going to look at the United States of America. Technically, what happens is by the end of the second term of a president, and the last year is when we start calling this a lame duck presidency. It seems like this is a lame duck presidency from now on, because it is not going to be Joe Biden who is going to lead the country or become president again. That there is going to be a new president, whether it's from the Democratic Party or from the Republican Party, we'll have to wait and see. For now, it does seem like like Donald Trump is looking very strong, and he's surging ahead with his campaign policies, house in order. They know exactly what they want to do. They know exactly what they have to say in the rallies. The running mate, J.D. Vance, exactly knows what he's doing, the rallies that he's holding. So it's a huge and stark difference. Never did we think that a presidential race in the United States of America will come down to whether if the man at the helm of affairs is capable enough to continue his presidency as also to run for the second term. Both decisions now, one taken, the other still in question, with others now seeking the resignation of President Biden. This voice is certainly going to grow stronger. We will see who are the ones within the Democratic camp, or for that matter the opposition camp, who are going to seek resignation of President Biden. For now, President Biden very clear that he's going to finish his term, which will end in January after the elections are held, and the new president is there, then takes office or takes oath to office in January. So that's the big story that we will be tracking. It's an interesting Sunday for people across the world, whether it's here on the Eastern Front or the Western Front. They are either looking at this news very carefully, waking up to the news, or will be going to bed with this news, only knowing very well that the Democratic Party certainly is going to have a new candidate, a new presidential candidate by the 19th of August, or maybe it could be sooner if it is Kamala Harris and she has enough support. All that depends on a few things. One is that if there is no internal coup, that the Democrats come together and rally behind Kamala Harris. Secondly, if the funders, the billionaires who fund these political campaigns, are confident that Kamala Harris could win it for them. The ones who would really want a Democratic win. This could have been in the past, and that something that we've been discussing too amongst various experts, political analysts who have been talking about this. They've been saying this could have been a very easy 3 Democratic consecutive terms. If Joe Biden would have stepped down earlier on, they could have had a Democratic Party president, or riding on the Democratic Party's positive momentum that they had when Donald Trump was going through all those legal cases and the legal drama that we were seeing. If it would have happened then, you would have had a Democratic president, and then it is very difficult if any president of the United States of America is fit enough. It's very rare for the incumbent to lose the second term. It's only happened 10 times, and this will be the 11th. But no longer the fact that he's pulling out. But then again, there have been only 10 times before that the incumbent has actually lost office. So a very interesting scenario over here. This is going to be now the 11th time that you see an incumbent not be returning to power, returning to office, but there is going to be a new president of the United States of America come November 5th. The decision will be taken. We will know who it is, and come January 2025, there will be a new president in office, in the Oval Office. So very interesting development. There is a lot to discuss. There are a few interviews that you'd like to see on India Today Global. Just a while ago, even as the news was breaking, we interviewed Harmeet Dhillon, the woman who offered Ardas at the Republican National Convention, was trolled by many, but is the lawyer for the Trump campaign and personally for Donald Trump, a very important individual. She speaks of what this really means. She also tells us and breaks it down for us as to what it could mean for the Democratic Party, and should there be an open or a closed convention. So absolutely putting it out there, but then again saying that no matter who stands on the other side, Donald Trump is returning to power. So please do watch that interview on India Today Global by Harmeet Dhillon. We will have a lot of reactions in the morning, also on from DC, as also from various quarters in India, on what this means for India and India-US relations. Should there be a Democratic Party, there'll be continuum. But should there be a return of Trump, what are the things that we will surge ahead on, and the areas that could be a problem area? Donald Trump in his Michigan rally today had said that the 200% hike on Harley Davidson had become a problem. But that was a problem that was created by the United States of America because we did not deal with it appropriately, which means that not that what India was doing was right, but that it should have been nipped in the bud with India, which means these are areas where we could find a lot of trouble for India. Trade related issues. He's going to come hard against India or on India when it comes to trade related issues, where he'd want a few things his way. A lot of our trade deals stuck because of the nitty-gritties, but we'll have to wait and see how that really pans out for India and for the United States of America. The fact that Prime Minister Modi's return to power here in India would certainly mean that there is going to be forward movement in terms of Trump-Modi interaction, but how far will the two sides go is something, again, we'll have to wait and see. They do see eye to eye on certain counts, Russia-Ukraine war being one. The Ukrainians and Europeans could find it very difficult should Trump return to remain in that war in the committed manner in which the Biden administration has stayed. That certainly would create a lot of problems for Ukraine. So a lot of reactions, a lot to talk about, and we will take all of that up tomorrow morning, early morning here at India Today Global. We will be going live with our team and discussing this major issue that has become a huge political debate, and it's not about just Joe Biden now pulling out, it's about who next, and the growing voice within the United States of America seeking resignation of Joe Biden as president as of today, saying that November 5th cannot come any sooner. On that note, thanks for watching India Today Global. Keep watching us for all the latest details on the US presidential elections. Race for the White House continues over here at India Today Global. Thank you.